Earthquake Underground sounded like a pretty interesting film, and having now seen it, I'm pleased to say it was not a bad experience. It's not perfect, but I really enjoyed it. It's also quite an easy watch, but also very anxiety inducing if the situation is something where you'd have a lot of anxiety. So it's quite an interesting experience. This was released in 2024. It's directed by Brian Nowak and it's written by M.L. Miller, and we have a cast including Angela Cole, Houston Rhines, Tim Dorsey and various others. The performances are very good. The camera work is very good. The lighting makes sense when I tell you what the story is about. It makes sense why it's quite dimly lit. But at the same time, I didn't like the lighting because it's just uncomfortable. I felt like I was straining to see what was happening. I never really got a good sense of the space where they're at. And again, I'll talk more about that in a moment. So I didn't love the lighting. But that being said, I understand why it was dimly lit. And obviously this is about an earthquake. And people are underground. They are submerged underground. And they have to try and find out how to get out, or they could die. And I will say, I felt the anxiety. I really, really did. That kind of situation is, as I'm sure it is for many people, one of my worst nightmares. Thankfully, earthquakes are not really a thing in the UK, but in general, just being stuck underground, trying to get out, it makes me feel sick even thinking about it. So that meant it was quite a thrilling experience. It is quite slow. But that atmosphere never went away. That anxiety was there pretty much throughout. And it got to the point very, very quickly. They wasted no time in getting to the main point. And I really appreciate that. I thought that worked very well. So it's maybe not the most eventful. I feel like the pacing is quite slow. But again, that anxiety is right on the surface. So I still felt really, really unwell throughout pretty much all of it. And that's obviously the kind of experience I was looking for. The characters are fine. I didn't care for anyone in particular. I wasn't hoping that this person survived or that person survived. But at the same time, I didn't wish any of them to not survive. Nobody irritated me. I didn't dislike anybody. So that's definitely a win. As I said, it is quite an easy watch. I think that's generally because it does have a slightly slower pacing. But again, the anxiety, that intense atmosphere, that's always there, that never goes away. So it kind of balances out. The only real issue I have is the lighting. And as I said, it makes sense. I understand why it's very dimly lit because of the setting, but I just wish they'd found a way to maybe make it a little bit more visually appealing because it wasn't that pleasant to look at. It was quite uncomfortable and not in a way that adds to the anxiety. As I said, I felt like I was just straining to see what was happening. So I feel like that could have been better. But again, I understand the decision. Everything else, though, absolutely fine. Good performances, decent characters, quite a slow film, but at the same time, very anxiety-inducing, so I can't really complain. If it sounds like it appeals to you, absolutely check it out. Earthquake Underground is a decent experience, and I'm quite happy to recommend it.